Jackson Township
Keep some nice and
board
cool.
meeting.
So a hot day, you know.
I hope you don't get confused on that.
Yeah, really.
I'll put on a recruit one. Probably after a few sips, I get confused.
You guys ready to start the meeting?
7 minutes after.
All right, call the meeting to order. We have a quorum. And if everybody would, stand for the pledge and prayer. There's a flag holding up there in the...
I might get that out. So.
Yeah, we need to display our flag better. Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Heavenly Father, Lord, thank you for this beautiful day and that everybody was healthy and could attend and without injuries. And we ask you to do our work and give us knowledge and experience and make the right decisions. In His name we pray. Amen. Amen. All right. 3 members present. Who is it we have in the Marie St. Louis, Pam, and
Kim.
Kim.
My daughter's name is Kim.
Like radio about the eye.
My daughter named Kim.
Oh, good name.
Oh, your age.
Pam, what's your last name?
Bennett.
Bennett?
Were you married?
Van Hook.
Yeah.
So was my daughter.
Oh, really?
Thank you.
She's still
Okay.
She works at the Riverview. She works the same thing. Just be
I need a motion to approve our agenda as written, or if anybody has anything they want to add to the agenda for today.
Maybe just,
Did somebody move it?
He's studying it.
We're looking over to make sure it's got everything on it.
I approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Okay, motion carries. Agenda is approved for today. Minutes of last meeting. I need a motion to approve the minutes as written.
So moved.
So Jerry moved.
Second.
Okay, minutes is passed. Territory report. We have a territory report.
No, there's not been a meeting since February the 5th.
Okay. All right. Legal financial.
Not really.
None. Old business, comprehensive plan. I see we have that here. Glenn, is
Yeah.
Glenn going to talk about that?
Not a whole lot. They just got some new rules in here, if you will. They've had quite a few issues with signage. The new place down there on the, call it the wharf in Cicero.
The frog place?
Yeah, I guess they're having quite a few issues there. It was a pain to get everything worked through with the liquor license. We did discuss the 31 corridor, and they did make it clear that that was going to be a TIF district. And there's nothing written at this point for any tax for anything for schools or fire service coming out of the TIF district at this point. So
The 31 quarter, they're going to tip that?
sorry, TIF. We will have the printed map. I saw the approved, the one that they had, and they're going to have those printed. Our next meeting is the 8th, and if they have a print of them, I will bring her copies.
I see mine's marked here. Is there a reason?
I read that, so I'm sorry. I probably gave you mine. I should have given you yours. But they're in the same
It's all
pot.
right.
Are we going to keep a copy of that here at the township office? I don't need a copy for...
Well, this is a copy for somebody.
Okay, I think we ought to have a copy here on file. We usually do.
Just for your information, Cicero did not vote on it. They did not vote to approve it last meeting, the town council, because the members wanted to read it. So that's certainly something
Okay.
that is to your...
So,
Do we want a table approving that then?
no,
until the
I
next
think they
meeting?
probably really like,
Or do you want to vote on it today? What's your recommendation?
I'd say vote on today and get it done. I have read that thing cover to cover. About 85% of it. Understand there's some lingo in there that you're going to probably have to get some legal advice on. I will say one thing about the Planning Commission, and Dan Strum is the president. I've never seen anybody with so much knowledge
I agree. And passion.
on top of it.
Yeah, he's got a passion for it too.
Yes, he does, and he will be the new president. Again, we reelected him for this coming year. I'm impressed with the board. I got my packet already for the 8th, and we got 2 issues, if you will. And
Sounds like you're enjoying being on the board.
I do enjoy that.
That's good, I knew you would.
There's no fighting or cussing or swinging, and no bad emails. And at this point, everybody's very professional. I'm really surprised how well that board operates. I really am. I being new, I just sit and listen, and
Absorb it all.
yeah, and
Well, it's good.
unless you're really questioning on this, let's just talk about setbacks, the things you can do, by splitting a lot.
This is a plan for future growth in our jurisdiction, which they normally do this about every 10 years, and it was through a Ball State University study. Is that correct?
And, you know, if there's an issue coming up, you're going to have to tackle it anyway.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah, this isn't our zoning book. This is a comprehensive plan of what they predict is going to
but
be.
it's pretty good. It tells you about everything you can and cannot do.
There's a lot of research and a lot of time that's put into that.
Did they look at the, I have to be honest, I haven't looked at it,
I haven't either.
but I wonder about the farm issue. Remember when Kay was worried about giving her family land?
That was one issue that was brought up about if a landowner, let's say a large farmer owned a couple hundred acres or more and wanted to give 3 to 5 acres to one of their children.
I think that is addressed in here.
Talked about subdivisions and splitting them into subdivisions and setbacks and roads and curbs. And I don't know. I don't have that much land, so it doesn't affect
Well,
me.
they've all gone through this pretty tight, and I think what they've done since we're a part of this is, let me use the term, a courtesy thing to do, to present it to us, and
Well, we don't pay for it. We pay
Yeah,
that cost of
absolutely.
it.
Yeah.
What was the cost of that plan? Was it
10 grand.
20 grand? And we paid 10 grand of it. We had extra funds
Well,
allotted
they'll
for
want
that.
it now. We haven't yet. because
And
we wouldn't get to it.
this is something that they just didn't do it. This is something that is required.
And they do that every 10 years usually.
This is a requirement. And I think I got so tired of a couple of those meetings, you don't want to put you to sleep, but they're very detailed in here.
Well, Glenn, I'll take your recommendation. If you think it's, if you're happy with it, if you're on top of the game there, I don't have a problem approving it. I'll vote to approve it if you want to bring it up. If Jerry wants to read it and bring it back to the next meeting and feels more comfortable that way, then we can go that route too. I'm not in a big hurry to approve this. I don't think anybody in the board's in a real big hurry, but it's
not that, it's like it is for the 8th. The 8th. It's our next meeting.
8th of this next month.
April. But I'm not going to say you got to do it.
Okay. Is the town of Cicero planning on having theirs approved by the 8th? You know?
If I recall, the town of Cicero has to approve this as well.
Yeah,
Right.
they tabled it. They wanted to
You said
read
they
it.
tabled it, they wanted to read it.
Okay.
I've read through the rough draft of it, and it's
This could be your copy, I guess.
I don't know. I remember when they first came out with it, I got the rough draft and I did read that, and I don't think there's been major changes. There was 2 or 3 little things we talked about changing, and I don't think anybody had an issue with changing those. Majority of this deals with the town of Cicero. Very little, maybe 20-30% deals with the unincorporated area of the township. But I'm fine. Jerry, what's your thoughts? Let's discuss this.
I'll let him make the motion. You want to?
Jerry, you sat on the planning commission from the town of Cicero before, haven't you? So Jerry's got a little bit of background knowledge of this too.
Yeah, but go through all that, I'll probably. If they haven't changed much of it, I don't see a reason to hold on. I'll make a motion to pass it.
You want to second that?
I'll second it.
All right. Motion carries, we'll go ahead and pass this. And I'm assuming Jan's waiting on her check too.
Probably.
Okay.
She's good with that.
Do we have just 2 copies of this, or do we have more?
Glenn has one.
I gave mine, I have my personal one, and I brought one for Jerry.
Okay. I don't necessarily need one. I think we ought to keep one here at the township.
I would like to
office.
have one.
Yeah, why don't you do that, because that's all I need, more stuff to do. All right, very good, thank you.
2 of them.
Station 55, roofs, next thing on the agenda.
The gentleman from the county was supposed to come today, but right before this meeting, he called and said that he got busy. He's going to come tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
I have
All
a
right.
question. Paying for that roof, it belongs to the township, but it's used for the territory. So is this going to be a split,
I'm going to tell you that from where I'm standing,
or is it going to be a township? I don't know the rules or...
I don't either. And all I can say is that the capital outlay for the township is not, I don't know. I don't think it's...
Well, I know when I was involved in that before, for the town of Cicero, I know they kept possession, like of the fire station. They had to pay for the fire station. And I think they had to pay for maintenance for the fire station.
As it stands right now, the territory has paid for maintenance of both buildings. But that's not my decision to make. I mean, that would be a fire board decision.
When they had the tornado in Atlanta that tore the roof off the firehouse, did we have a deductible to pay for that, to get that done?
We did, but we kind of worked it out. We did a work kind of thing. But yes, it was under our insurance. I mean, the township, as the providing unit, carries the liability insurance, handles, and so far has handled maintenance and repairs. But
So, maintenance of that building and the Atlanta building, just to put us all on the same page, has the territory in the past paid for like any incidentals on the roof, or?
well, the roof was covered by insurance.
Okay, so we didn't
And
really
the
have
back
to-
door was covered by insurance. When they did the extra room in Atlanta, they took Atlanta brought SCBA's to the territory, and they sold the SCBA's, and they used that money to put back into it. So, but that still was fire money that went back
Who pays
into
for
a
the air
fire building.
conditioner?
The territory paid for the air conditioner.
Okay. So we have kind of a mix that the town paid for some of it and the territory paid for some of it.
Do they have budgeted money for that, or does the township or the territory, either one?
The township has, the territory has a capital outlay in the budget. The one thing that's different, well, there are several things, but one thing that is definitely different between a township and a town is that the township has, in township's general fund and township general and their capital outlay fund, that money comes from Cicero. So, because Cicero puts money into that. In the territory fund, Cicero doesn't put any money in because they have their own fire department. So, I mean, there could be some money that came, there's some capital outlay money in township and there's some capital outlay money in territory.
Oh, is that in the agreement?
That wasn't addressed in the agreement.
It was?
It was not. See, when it came, it went so quickly, and we had to make that decision so quickly. The capital outlays were not discussed when we put it together.
They're not, I hate to interrupt, but I think in the state statutes under territory, it's described in that. Now, I don't know if you can change it or not.
As I understand, that would have been something that needed to be addressed.
So that's something that we need to put on our list of possible amendments to the fire territory
Yes.
thing.
There just wasn't enough time. I mean, it was enough just to get what we got together, and that was down to the wire the way it was, and to have addressed what to do with buildings and what to do with machinery was just, as it stands right now, the township has $5,000 for capital outlay, $10,000 for machinery and equipment, because we talked about maybe getting a snowplow. and parking lots and grounds of $1,300, and that's pretty much putting gravel and stuff like that to maintain.
You said the township has
The
that.
township. The territory has,
You got $5,000 for building maintenance.
they have, hang on.
And that includes this building, right?
They have lease purchases of $6,000, that's for the chief's car. Radio and communication equipment is $13,000, so they have a total of $19,000, so I don't even
That's all
know.
spent, isn't it?
Building and grounds, though, under other services and charges has $20,000. Building maintenance has $21,000.
Well, sounds like they got more in the territory's line items for building maintenance than we've got.
Do you have any idea on that, Maurice? All I know is we gotta get it fixed.
Well, I mean, there's no doubt about it. There's been some discussions, however, like Chris pointed out, we haven't had meetings since February 5th. We intend to have a meeting hopefully very shortly here, and I asked the chief to pick a date so we can get it done. There has been some things talked unofficially on the phone that we have in the past. What are we going to do about the roof? It's got to be fixed because if it continues deteriorating, we're going to have to put a lot more money into it. So the debate was, and up front, is the fact that we didn't know what the territory's position is going to be as of 1 April. And as an entity, not an entity, as a territory, we didn't know if we go out and pay for the whole thing and then we're not part of it, what happens then? We feel responsible that, I think it's a kind of dual responsibility. Initially, the township had folks go in there and fix the roof, they didn't do it right, and there was no follow-up. I think this is just an opinion for discussion. I think, I believe that the township should not pay for all of that, but I think there should be an equitable division of costs to get it done and get it done right. Now, the folks that, the county that recommended Steve Wood, which I know very well, has a company that he likes. I'm not sure if that's the one coming.
That's the one that was supposed to come this morning.
Oliver, I did send you a copy of the email saying that, although they're good, we're not sure what the price level is going to be. This guy's used to work for the county. Not saying the county has more money than the township, of course they do. But we'll have to look at that and see what the other variation is going to be.
Mark Everett, if I may.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mark Everett said that he trusted this Woods gentleman to at least look and give us an opinion, as well as, and Steve Woods said he trusted this company to give their opinion as to what the answer might be. Is it a membrane that goes on top? Do we need to put a new roof on? Do we need to take that off? And when I talked to Steve Woods the other day, he said they may not have the best price, but he would like to have their opinion. And then Mark again said that probably Steve would come out and give us his opinion too. So that was the he'll be out tomorrow.
And that company's been used by the county several times. The sheriff's department, the roof, same type layout, and they've done repairs in the past.
So I think it should be a priority with both
absolutely.
Both boards to get that fixed as soon as
Well,
possible.
Maurice, would you mind letting know whoever, I'm not going to be here tomorrow, so who's ever on duty tomorrow, generally the shifts, I don't know, because I know that James is on vacation, but generally the shifts understand where the leaks are. So if they could, when he comes out, if they could at least point him in the directions where we've been having problems.
Absolutely. I'll call Steve after I leave the meeting here today. I agree it needs to be a priority.
I think we've already got 2 or 3 quotes to
That's
fix
great.
it. Yeah, so if this company kind of is in line with the rest of them as far as the thought process of replacing it.
Well, the reputation is good. We have a good reputation.
Henshaw Roofing, which tried to give us a fix in the beginning, and did the best they could because it was a leak. I mean, when you've got an insurance issue, you can't redo the roof. The problem was it was wrong. Whoever put those buildings together did it wrong. So they did the best they could do with what they had. And he's the one who gave the 3 companies. His opinion from Henshaw was to put a membrane on it, and if this McGruff, if this McGruff roofing, it is what it is.
He said wrap it in rubber is what he said.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're gonna get that going. All right. The next item was the agenda was the response from the towns with a letter requesting the 5-member board, and then the next one's about the meetings. I'll kind of go over this, and Maurice, please chime in if you will. Maurice and I and Fred Farley, and sat down with Aaron Culp, the town's attorney, and Jeff Logston. Jeanette was there, and also Mark Abrams was there. Mark kind of got the thing going. We came to some resolutions. We agreed. Everybody agreed to a 5-person board, going to a 5-person board. How exactly we got there, we compromised that the towns would pick up one person, civilian, to be on a non-elected person to be put on that board, and we would too, to get it a 5-person board. What was the other?
And I ask you the question, do they have to live outside the city limits of both towns?
You know what, we never really got into that, did we? The town could pick somebody that lives out in the township if they want to. And the township could pick somebody that lives in one of the towns. We never really got into that. As long as they live in Jackson Township,
That was
in the fire territory, I would suggest we don't get somebody that lives in the town of Cicero because they aren't part of the fire territory. I don't think anybody on that territory board would want to do that anyway. But that's where we kind of left it. I would think that we would kind of get somebody to represent our constituents a little bit better than what we had in the past. So we did that. We decided to do that. And then also, because we're going to a 5-person board, it was agreed that only 3 people would have to be there to be making a quorum and get business done to keep the ball rolling. Those were the 2 big issues that we discussed, I believe. And Jeanette Gassenbaum is putting together minutes of what was agreed on, and we'll get that to the other 2 attorneys. And then once they all agree on the minutes, then she will forward that to us and everybody else. And then also Jeff Logston is going to create a rough draft of the amendments to the territory agreement for us to view, in hopes to have those done sometime around May 1st. We shot for May 1st, I believe.
I believe so, yeah.
Around May 1st. My hope is that, we didn't discuss this, but my hope is that we have this 5-person board in place by July 1st. Have 2 additional people picked and put onto that board by July 1st. And hopefully all the amendments and everything's done and the 3 towns sign and all that.
I think all we're waiting now is for Logston to say there's a legitimacy of doing that, and we move forward.
Yeah, Logston wanted to write this up, but he also was really wanted to check state statutes and case law and things like that to make sure it's done correctly. And he wanted to look also at the territory agreement to see if anything that we're changing would affect other things already existing in the agreement that we don't want to, override something else. He was bringing up a lot of, well, if we do this, this is going to change, things like that. One thought was brought up that county commissioners or county council could pick 2 people to be on our board, and I think that everybody there wasn't really in favor of that for me.
No.
That and Jeanette Kassenbaum kind of said, look,
Not a good idea.
it's not a good idea because they're having enough trouble filling their own positions on their own boards. They have a lot of positions to fill. I didn't realize that. So that's what we came out of in the agreement, is that we would go to a 5-person board and that we would have a minimum of 3 would be a quorum. That's the gist of it. Is there anything else I missed? I mean, it's been a week since we did it.
No, you're absolutely correct. Most everything we discussed, the priority would be the 5-man board, the 5-person board. Sorry, I didn't mean to leave out the women, but the 5-member board, and that would be the priority. And then him working on the main points of the MOU, so we can revise some of those MOU criteria involved. Interject and put some in there that day. Building maintenance, I mean, what happens if this occurs or that occurs?
Right.
The responsibility and that sort of stuff. So that's what I understand what's going to happen. And then we'll move forward, I'm not sure, and I think there might be another meeting of the committee.
Yeah, we
Between
talked
now
about
and
the
then.
meeting once everything was kind of put together.
They just revise or review everything that we discussed. I thought the meeting was very productive.
Very good dialogue.
Very good dialogue all the way around.
Meeting lasted right at 3 hours.
3 hours.
Very
Margaret Wednesday was for an hour, and then you
Yeah.
had another meeting in to attend, and then we did the rest. We left there about 25 to 7, I believe. I think that's when everything
Yeah.
kind of shut down a little bit. Long, but productive. I do want to say something here, and not because Kim's over here, but I would. It appears to me, just an outside looking in, that this young lady's taking a lot of interest in coming here, all the meetings. She
She'd
probably
be a
would
good secretary, wouldn't she?
Well, yeah.
So we're taking notes.
But I think.
What is the territory agreement? Check that out.
We can get you a copy of that too if you'd like to read it.
But I think she would be definitely a good add to a decision you guys made. I mean, I have no issue. Kim is, besides she has the same age as my daughter, that's all right. See a lot of interest there. I'm sorry?
How's that make you feel?
Old, yes, yeah, absolutely.
Well, did the board, I thought we'd bring this up for discussion. Is there any questions or anything you want to talk about? I know this was a big push that the request that we had to the towns, however it was written, was we really wanted a 5-member board. I think we're going to get that accomplished and correct most of the things that we requested, one way or the other. You guys want to have any discussion on that? I mean, if you've got any questions, we need to answer them and discuss it now.
So you're rewriting the agreement and adding that into it, and I assume that there'll be other things that...
We're not rewriting the agreement, we're amending the agreement. If
Amending.
we rewrite this agreement from the ground up, then we have to have meetings and public meetings and
Was
go
there
through
any
all that
other
stuff.
amendments that you know of?
There were some other things we looked at it, and that, like this, what we just mentioned here, the capital. I mean, there's a few little things, nothing big. These 2 items were the big 2, and I mean, it was 90% of what I would consider would be important in that agreement. But we wanted to get those corrected first, and then once this board moves along, we really want to research that territory agreement and come together as a committee and find out if there's something else we need to add to this. Maybe not fix things and change things, but maybe add stuff to it.
And we agree that this is a tangible document. In other words, it doesn't remain, it changes as the organizations change or situations or events change. It's not a permanent thing. It's an evolving thing. Maybe every year we may have to revisit, recommended, those kind of things on the agreement. Just as a sideline, I am as distressed as anybody else is with this minutia that's going on. You've got my personal word, and I'll do the very best I can to try to keep things going in the right direction and see what our objective is and make it happen. Better communication, as Jerry pointed out, between the 2 boards. I am going to relieve some of the things I have asked the chief, so we know to move out of the building. There's a couple alternatives on that, in the best interest of everything. Territory meetings will not be held in this building. Territory meetings will not be held here. They'll be held in the town hall in Arcadia, in the council room. I'm doing what I can that I have some control of to make things better than what it has been.
Also, that Chris Miller, trustee, has decided to step down off the territory board.
No, I can't do that yet.
You can't do that yet? Okay, well, we
I
discussed.
can't. I don't, here's the thing. I think if I step down the way that it's formulated, right now, I think that it will defunk it.
Well, Logston's is looking into that.
Yeah, so I don't,
Yeah.
I'm not resigning until he tells me I can't.
Right, that's what I was.
Well, that's something we talked about too.
Yeah, Logston said, I've got to rewrite that. That's part of one of the things he was going to have to rewrite. And also, we also discussed him rewriting the section about the safety board, that the safety board only has to see people that are full-time people, not the part-time people. And he indicated the state statute does not indicate this is for part-time employees, it's for people that are going to get some sort of retirement or pension from this government entity. It has to go.
So you're picking stuff that should have been in it.
Well,
could have been in it,
or
needs to be.
or needs clarification, yeah.
Or
Some changes, some additions, some clarifications, that sort of thing. And then there's going to be more come up, but it's going to be more minor things.
Also the issue of the safety board, John Clacker's on there, he can no longer be on that safety board if he's a board member. And deciding, and also John Clacker, Fred Farley will make that decision whether John Clacker will remain on that board. It is a board decision that's made by all the councilmen, and that'll come forward with.
Can I clarify?
Yeah, go ahead.
By no means did I say that I won't step down. I'm just saying that until that document is rewritten, if I do step down, then the way it stands right now, I'm on that board, and then the board will not be able to meet.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Better to
when
follow
you,
the full thing.
yeah, so when you amend this interlocal agreement, then the committee can put together the recommendations. Then those recommendations have to be written identically, and then each board has to pass them. So there's a process here. So I just want to make the record clear that I can't step
Right,
down.
and we understand that because we talked to Jeff Logston about having to change that to make this effective.
Right, so
And
I
he
just
agreed.
can't. Okay, I just want to make for sure that I'm not saying I won't. I'm just saying.
I know we understood that.
Because the way it's written, she has to be on that board.
Yeah.
So, okay, so that's clarification that's going to be
The
great.
only other thing that we could do, we can handle under new business.
Okay.
And I didn't mean to be, I just wanted to make
I'm going to handle
sure.
the rest of it under new business.
Yeah, because I just,
One clarification I did want to have, it was brought up, the three alternates, the alternate thing that we all signed, have all three towns signed it, and do we have it, and has it been recorded?
it's not been recorded because the they've signed the ordinances and the resolution part, but the signature page on the actual document has not been signed. So when you go through, and there were two things that were emailed. So when you go through to have it recorded, you have to have the signature page, and the entire document has to be recorded.
Okay,
So-
so do we need to go back and do something?
No, well, my suggestion, just
Okay.
be it a suggestion, is that there's a pretty good chunk of money to record that interlocal agreement. And if you're going to make changes to it again,
Do it one time.
why don't you just import, like the resolution stands. The resolutions, the ordinances stand because they've been signed.
Right.
But if you're going to change it more, why don't we make one big change and then go record it all at one time?
I would like to resign any position with her. I do not want to have any position.
Okay, what Glenn's talking about is originally when we signed this document, Glenn was
An alternate.
nominated to be the alternate from the township on that board. If Chris couldn't make it, then Glenn was going to show up and make it. He's asking to have himself removed from that.
That's correct.
Jerry, do you have a problem with that?
Well, I don't think if you've got a 5-member board, you need alternates.
But
The town's really, that's something.
okay, here's how it happened. We had the 3-member board, and then we had a hard time getting people to come when Abe was sick and Gary was sick, and Johnny he sent somebody from the Atlanta board, and we had to say, you can't come, you weren't appointed. And so what we did to fix that was we put alternates in.
Right, I understand that, but to
So-
go to a 5-member, why would you need?
Because of
I
this,
agree.
but in this interim part right now, between having a 3-member board and getting a 5-member board, which may take until May, June depending.
Well, yeah, but that should remain until you sign your documents for the
5
amendments.
And that's what we're, yeah, so it can actually be taken
Well,
with
Right.
we talked about that a little bit too.
But I want off the board
Okay.
today.
Okay.
I got any notes.
That's fine. We did mention that, I think it was brought up that the alternates, we just discussed this, and I believe this, that if you have an alternate come from a town to represent a town at short notice, and they haven't been on that board for a while, they don't have the familiarity, they don't know what's going on that board, necessarily the details, and to have them come in, and I don't think it's fair to that person to ask them to vote on something that they don't really know what they're voting on.
No.
They don't have the background. I mean, I'm not saying they totally are oblivious to it, but they may not have all the details and the research. I didn't think it was, if we go to the fire person board, I didn't think it was really great to have alternates, because I wouldn't want to be put in that position myself if I was asked, hey, can you go to this board meeting because I can't make it tomorrow? Well, what do I do?
Well, it makes perfect good sense, as Jerry mentioned, it's one of those flaws in there that why worry about the alternates at this point when
Well,
the towns have agreed to go to a
let's make it real simple here. The air conditioner went out. What are you gonna do? That didn't take a rocket science
Yeah.
or something like that.
The only reason that the alternates would work really well right now is that Glenn's resigned as the alternate. Whoever we make as the alternate could then attend the fire board meetings, and that's a way for me not to be at those meetings by allowing the alternate to go until the 5-member board is put into.
According to Jeff Logston, if all 3 entities sign the alternate amendment, then it is enforced. It doesn't have to be recorded to be enforced.
Exactly, and that's what it
So
does.
currently that
It's
alternate
enforced.
thing is in force.
Yeah.
Now, what we can do when we add amendments to the document, we could not have that amendment recorded.
The resolution, the new resolution would say that we would resolve to.
So how many alternates do you have?
1 per entity. Yeah.
So if he's going to resign, and my understanding is she's going to appoint you to the
Well, we have
territory,
we
why
have
don't
that
you do
point.
the alternate then?
Well, that's what we're kind of getting around to. Yeah. Do we need to vote on that changing of the alternate? Okay. Well, since Glenn brought that up, we're all on that. Do you mind if I move ahead into that?
No, I was
Okay.
just saying, I just wanted to make for sure
No,
that
I-
you understood that that's the only way
Well, we're all on
that it
that
can
topic.
happen. And if Fred decides that Johnny shouldn't be on, it doesn't need to be on the board, I didn't mean shouldn't, doesn't need to be on the board, then if Atlanta's board would choose an alternate, then that person could be on the board as well. So that's a way for us to work through this until the 5-member
Well,
board.
I'll make a motion that Glenn Swartz is resigning as an alternate to the territory board, that Jeff Roberts be appointed as an alternate to the territory board until all the amendments are signed to create the 5-member board. Does that make sense?
That makes sense to me.
So Jerry moved it, Glenn, are you seconding it?
I'll second that.
All right, motion carries. All right.
And just to finish that up,
Then,
Yeah.
go ahead, Chris.
then I would like to ask Jeff Roberts to attend future fire board meetings.
Okay. That's no problem.
Then that gives the board gives the fire board what they want.
Okay. Did you have anything else you want to add, Maurice, before we go? We got 2 or 3
Yeah,
other
just
things.
one thing is that's what's nice about these alternatives, all of them with a 5-board member, right? Everybody's got a vote. It's not just the elected officials.
Yeah.
Everybody on that board has a vote, has one vote. Where before, only an elected official that's on the board, even as an alternate, would have the ability to vote. But if it was a non-elected position, then they didn't have the right to vote. They could attend, but not have voting issues.
I see what you're saying.
Voting powers, yeah.
Okay. All right. Are we done with that? Can we move on to our new business? We've already done the alternate thing. I'm going to put it back under old business since we've already done that. Meeting dates, future meeting dates of the board. You want to do like the next quarter? Would that sound good to you folks? We usually do it
For this board?
For this board.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, do you anticipate that we need more than one meeting a month for the next quarter? April, May, and June?
The thing is that this is what I anticipate. The next step that would be, the next step that needs to happen is that the chiefs need to put the budget together.
Okay.
And then the chiefs need to present that budget to the fire board, and the fire board needs to approve it.
Okay, what timeline are we looking at there?
I believe it says that they have to have either June or July. The
Yeah,
fire
that's what I
board has to
Last
get
part
that.
of June, first part of July.
That's what I was thinking, starting in August, we'll probably want to go to 2 meetings a month then after that, right?
Yeah, the one thing about putting the fire budget together is that for the fire chiefs, is that I believe they need to have, I know that they need to have very good information as far as how much revenue is coming in, because if they look at that fire budget as it stands right now, it includes miscellaneous revenue from a fire grant that's no longer going to be there, and the miscellaneous revenue from EMS. So
It's been changed a little bit.
yeah, I just very, very important, and I'll be more than happy to help with that if they'd like to ask and if they'd like to come talk to me. I'll be more than happy to
You
do
and I
that.
can work together on that.
Do you want me and you and the chiefs put it together? Whatever.
And you and I can look at it, and you can make a recommendation.
I just think that I think it would be helpful to before to sit down and put that budget together. You've got to know how much money's coming
It is
in.
imperative. The chiefs are not at the point now, they fully trained on how that goes together. So whatever advice you can give us, I would appreciate it. And you and I can work together on that, I hope.
It's fine. I just want them to have good, solid information.
Right.
Because it's going to be different next year.
Now, question on that is that the notification, the public notification for the meetings, does that go through you, or do we have to do something special, or
The one
do we
thing
announce
about
meetings, the 40-hour notice?
there's a couple of things that we've been doing. That's totally up to you, but it is the means of communication that we've been using. And I would think it would be good to keep that communication going. One is that first of all, if you've asked Chief White to put the meeting together, you have another fireman's schedule that you need to take into consideration as well. So that's going to be important. The next thing is that there are things that we do. We put on the website. We have a calendar on JacksonTownshipTrustee.com, and it's the trustee.com because it's free. I mean, that's just all it is. It's a calendar, and we keep the meetings on that calendar. At the same time, we post meeting minutes. I would urge you strongly to continue to do that, because that is where people go to look at minutes and where they go.
Okay, so for the communications aspect of it, once the minutes are taken and approved and all that, would they just forward them to your office to have put
They're
on
going to
there?
have to hand carry them because they're going to have, well, I guess you could scan them, but I keep a book. I would hope that would remain so that we don't have records scattered. But we have fire territory minutes and we have township board minutes that are on that bookshelf. So once the minutes are signed, and I take them right back to the business office, they're scanned the next day and they're put on the website. And then as well as the chief's report and things like that are available to people. They're used to going there. The other thing is that we put those minutes on, or we put the meetings on the calendar for the township, and we don't list all of the meetings in order, but the next meeting we have on the electronic sign.
Okay.
So, and it would be nice for us to know when it is, because people are used to calling here and getting information on when those meetings are. So as a courtesy to not only...
I would do that.
Yeah, as a courtesy, I would think that would be nice to continue that.
And the recording of the notes, the minutes taken. I don't think I'll be worried about it.
That's you guys have enough time with that. You can record, don't know.
Nice thing about recording them, even though I'm speaking in a recorder,
Mhm.
is that if there's clarification when the person is taking the minutes, you're typing so fast you miss stuff, that helps clarify it. It's not to be a stickler on anybody, it's strictly the person taking the minutes.
And I'll be more than happy to help in any way I can. That recorder's my husband's, so. Atlanta has a good recorder though, doesn't it? Don't you guys record your minutes?
I think she does.
Yeah. You guys record your minutes?
Yeah, just makes it easier.
Mhm.
All right, well,
And I did resign as the secretary to the fire board. I did that this morning.
okay.
So the question is, what are you doing? Township meetings?
Township board meetings for the next 3 months. I was just gonna set some meeting dates.
I don't know.
Are either one of you guys gonna be out of town on
I would
vacation?
see the territory meeting more often, but I don't know about us.
Well, once in a while, we just wanna set dates. Whether we have a meeting or not, it depends on if we have business to conduct. You know, if Chris calls me a couple days before the meeting and says, hey, we don't have anything to put on the agenda, we cancel the meeting. You know, if she says, hey, we got a contract we need to sign, or we got something else like
I
paving
guess
on
it's
the
up
roof.
to you to come up with.
Well, I just thought I'd put 3 on there, one for the next 3 months, one per month for the next 3 months, but I wanted to ask you guys, are you guys going to be out of town any family functions or anything?
I'm leaving one of the last 2 weeks in April. I don't know which one.
Okay. How about April 14th? It's a Tuesday.
Okay.
Would that be good for you, Chris? Because next week is FDIC, and the week before that I'm on vacation.
I'm going to tell you something. I don't foresee us needing this meeting on April 14th.
Well, why don't we set it,
Okay.
and we can always cancel it. I'd rather have it that
Do you want it
way.
at 3 o'clock?
When would be good for you guys for a meeting? Is 3 o'clock? Do you want us to continue to do that, or do you want to move it to later?
No, earlier or late, I don't want to go any later.
Okay, April 14th. All right. Let me get my calendar back up here. All right. How about May 13th? I'm just picking one like in the middle of the...
On Friday.
It's a Wednesday. No, if it was Friday, I'd skip that.
13th, you say 13th?
May 13th. Trying to pick a time kind of in the middle of the month.
Okay, so when we get close to June and July, we're getting close to...
My June's a mess. But,
Mine is 2.
Well,
I
do
mean,
you want
it's
to do April and May, and then see when the fire board meetings are, so that...
see all those yellow lines on that calendar? We're on family vacation.
I want a yellow line calendar.
Must be nice.
It is our yellow line.
My wife's really good with colors. I'm kind of colorblind, so it looks like almost like an off-white to me. But
Hope I didn't pay for the county.
no, this is a Google calendar. It's free.
Here, let me look. What do you
No, I
have?
meant the vacation.
I have that set up. I don't know if we're going to actually be on there or not, but we may be in town.
June the 23rd?
It doesn't
No,
say
it doesn't have yellow above it?
no, it's,
It does too.
Yeah,
Mine
right
is
here.
Friendship.
yeah, you know where Friendship's at?
I do. That's a fun vacation.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a national shoot of Friendship. I don't know, we can pick, do you want to pick something in June? Do you need to pick something in June, or do you want to just let June go for right now? Since that's starting to get into the time where,
What if we left it May, and then you can get your meetings together, and then get back with us when they are, and then we can coordinate, because again, the chiefs have to put the budget together. They have to send, then they have to get it early to the township board, because the township board approves it, or disapproves it, or sends it back. So the earlier that budget's together, the better off we're going to be.
okay,
So April, May is going to be
the two, April 14th and May 13th. Is that okay? Nepotism, we've already signed the nepotism.
Thank you very much.
Conflict of interest, none of us signed it, but if somebody,
If somebody does business with the township, I've
Yeah.
got it here. You feel like
Terry,
you
if you
want one?
decide to sell your car to the township, you need to fill out one of those.
Mhm.
Okay.
Is there anything else we need to add, or anything else we need to discuss?
We need to say happy birthday to my grandson. He's 4 today.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All right, who makes a motion? Do I hear a second for adjournment? Wait, we got a public comment. We got any public comments? We've had comments, part of the public,
What, the lights on the chief's car, was that what, from a meeting in the past? I
That's
can't
no
remember.
cost to anybody. It's going to be, it's done by a sponsor.
Right.
Okay, all right, so all his lights,
Since you brought that up,
sorry.
Westfield did it last year.
oh, the free light thing?
They spent, I was told, $30,000
For lights.
on that vehicle for the show, and they kept it on.
Yep, that's what we're,
Yeah.
all that stuff's going to be free for us.
Yes.
So the FDIC's coming up third week of April, and after that, it'll be done.
So,
Do we have a vehicle?
I don't know.
We have a vehicle.
Vehicles at the place where they put the lights on it.
Oh,
Okay, I didn't know. I didn't know.
I never seen it. It's red, isn't it?
I haven't seen it.
We could,
Purple.
the township board could use a letter from the fire board or from the chief saying they're
Wait
done
here a
with
second.
I'm not ready, I got something else.
Oh, for God's sake.
I can't keep getting up and down.
You want a letter from the fire territory board?
We could use a letter from the fire territory that you're done with that old Explorer.
I got 7 items to
So,
bring up.
oh, well, you're not adjourned?
No.
He's got 7 items he wants to bring up.
No, I don't, I got one. I got a, can we, since we're thinking about building on to the fire station, and we're getting bids on these roofs, could we get proposals for that add-on, get an idea, can we do that with these
I don't think
contractors?
with these contractors because they're not,
They're not,
they're roofers.
they're just roofers, okay, all right.
And that Altair guy said he only does stick buildings, you know, wood buildings.
Oh. Is that the guy that fixed our roof in Atlanta?
No, that's Hinkle
Well,
Construction.
I was impressed with him. He did it really
Hinkle.
well.
Yeah, he does a good job.
Now Hinkle does that work,
Yeah, he does a little bit of everything.
and he wasn't real excited about that
I'm
building.
just trying to keep.
He's not real excited about that building over there because it's been, my dad has a word for it, the quarters off, and it starts with, it says rigged, and
Starts with an N.
Yeah. he said that building, that's all they've done, but, you know,
Correct technical term now is Afro engineering.
well, it's definitely had that rest to it.
Politically correct.
That's politically correct. Good luck, man. All right, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay, motion carries.